Hey guys, so just before I begin talking about anything in this video, I wanted to say thank you so much for 100,000 subscribers here on YouTube. It's incredible to me. I've never expected I would get this many subscribers and people who wanted to watch my videos, and I always thought it would be just like 2,000 or 3,000 people max who would watch my videos, and it would be from on my Instagram, I'd tell them to go watch it and they would. So thank you so much for following me here and for supporting me, and I'm really surprised at how big of a part YouTube is for my life right now. When I started out, I didn't think it would be this big, and I think I've improved very much because of it as well, because I've been trying to put out different kinds of paintings and content, and so that I don't just paint the same thing over and over again. I know I have to improve, I get it. There's a lot of things that I could improve in, but I just think in general it's helped me get much better at art, and so thank you so much for supporting me. It means so much to me. And just before I begin talking about the two paintings and the differences between them, I wanted to let you know that the new painting is painted in Krita, and if you'd like to see an introduction to Krita, I have a video on it which will be on the screen right now. And also I'm first painting in black and white and then adding color afterwards, and that's just to establish the values and the lighting to make sure everything is looking good. If you'd like to see a tutorial on how I do that, you can use this in any program, actually not just Krita. You can check that out. It's going to be on the screen right now as well. I would let you know what tablet I'm using, but the thing is I've been testing out a new tablet for a company and it is not yet out on the market, so I'm just testing it, but for all intents and purposes I usually use the Huion WH1409 tablet, and I could definitely of course have used it to create this painting. So if you're looking for a good, pretty affordable tablet, I would definitely recommend that one. So the time difference between the two paintings is about 4.5 years. I was almost 14 when I painted the original painting, and right now I'm 18 painting this new one. And so it's kind of interesting how my style has developed and how my techniques have improved as well. When I painted the original painting, I was into this whole medieval kind of vibe, and I wanted to write a book, and it was set in medieval time period. And so at that time in my life, at almost 14 years old, I read a bunch of things about medieval clothing and food and lifestyle and stuff. I think I read a lot of Geoffrey Chaucer. I think I said that right. I'm not 100% sure. It was a while ago, but I read so many things about medieval time periods, and I think that's why I painted this. I kind of wanted to have this like red-headed, like evil lady with this glowing necklace. I didn't really know what it was, but it wasn't supposed to be a witch because she was supposed to be like of a higher class. But I guess that's the backstory of how I painted this. And back when I was starting digital painting, I wasn't good at anything, like period, I was equally bad at everything. And so there wasn't anything that was my go-to that I just painted over and over like I do today, because I'm good at some things and not good at other ones, and so I stay in my comfort zone and just paint the things I'm good at. Well, back then I was bad at everything, so I just tried out as many things as I could and, to see what I liked. And also, I really had no idea what colors I liked in my paintings, and I just recently discovered that I really like the blues and the pinks and purples, like cooler tones in my paintings, and back then I did not know this. I tried out about every color on the color wheel, so, experimenting with everything, and just saying, right now, I hate these colors, like this reddish, burnt orange kind of color, and then this really, really bright neon lime green. I hate it so much, especially the green. I've never been a fan of green or brownish colors, and so I'm just right now starting to appreciate browns and emeralds, right? Like dark, deep greens. That's what I'm kind of starting to like right now. It's like a huge challenge for me too, as well, to start to accept green. And so this green I hate so much, and so painting it for the new painting, honestly, it gave me a lot of anxiety, and so I really like the new painting. It's just the green is killing me. I hate it so much. I know if you like green, you're gonna be like, Sarah, what's wrong with you? Like, calm yourself. I don't like it. It gives me anxiety. It makes me uncomfortable. But I mean, it just goes to show how much I've improved and, how much I've changed in like 4.5 years, because back then I didn't really know or care. I was just trying out whatever, and I thought it was like super cool. Like, I was like so great at lighting, and the lighting on her face was so wonderful. I thought it was so clever. And honestly, I think the old painting is cute, because back then I didn't really have a style or a way of painting. I just drew whatever, and it has this cute little vibe to it. Like, she's got a little chipmunk face, and I think it's sweet looking. But the Draw This Again challenge is basically just drawing the same subject with my current style, and so I really do like my new painting as well. I try to keep a lot of the facial features pretty similar to the original, so keeping kind of a square jaw, you know, having that sneaky look on her face, her eyes kind of half closed, and I wanted to add at least a hand in this painting just because there were hands in the previous painting. I mean, they were basically blobs, but we'll call them hands. And so I didn't want her to be doing whatever she's doing with her hands in the original painting because it doesn't make any sense. It just looks weird. It looks like she should be standing on a cane or something. And so I decided I wanted her to be holding her, like, charm necklace thing. And so that leads me into references. And so for her face, I didn't use any references, or for her hair. For her cloak, I needed to know how it sits on the head properly, and so I looked up some cloak references, and I finally found one from a seller on Etsy who's selling cloaks, and I just used one of those pictures as references. And for her hand, I was looking for a bunch of references online, and I couldn't find the exact pose that I wanted. It's the one that's in the finished painting. That's exactly the pose I wanted, so I just posed my own hand, and so I used reference for my own hand. I think that's always a great idea. I've recommended it before, and it just makes sure that your painting looks exactly as you want it to be. For her lighting on her face, I think I just googled something like face lighting references, and there's a bunch of 3D models out there, and painting tutorials, and also just photos for reference that you can use for different lighting scenarios and situations and all that. And I chose a 3D model that was lit from underneath, just so that I could have a basic understanding of where the light was coming from and how it, like, hit the face. Like, I kind of knew the basics, but I just wanted to make sure it looked as realistic as possible. And so for the new painting, I originally decided to just leave the background blank and, you know, have it be this really dark burnt orange color. And so it was pretty late when I finished the painting, and so I went to bed, and I was having a bunch of anxiety that night because I really liked the direction the painting was going, but there was no relief for me. It was just a green and like this orange color, and it was making me so uncomfortable. And so in the morning I was like, that's it, I can't do this anymore. And so I brought up a reference of this woodland background scene, and I added some blue in the background. I just couldn't anymore. And so I really like the fact that I did add the background because it gives her a setting and all that. It looks pretty good. And that's another thing I need to get better at, is putting characters in settings. So I'm glad I did that. The background picture is from Pinterest, and I have actually pinned it to, I think, my Inspiration Magical board. So for a couple of months now, Pinterest has become my obsession, and I love pinning things and finding good reference photos and inspiration, and so definitely follow me there if you want to find some really good photos. Just not to pat myself on the back because I just find them, I don't make them, but I find really good pictures. So the new painting took me about 6 hours, and I think my old painting probably took, I think, around 3 or 4 hours. So the original painting was painted in Photoshop CS5, and that was back when I still used Photoshop. And side note, I think you can imagine that at 13 years old, I did not have $1,000 to pay for the program. So we'll just say I used a trial, wink wink. I never published anything that I did in Photoshop, so it's not a big deal that I used this quote-unquote free version. But yeah, that's why I kind of switched to Krita, because I sell my art now and do commissions and all that, and I feel much more comfortable using a free program to paint, you know? Especially since it's so good. I actually really prefer it over Photoshop. I've tried Photoshop right now again, and I don't like it that much. You know, I'm sure it's a good program for some people. I just really got used to Krita and the brushes and the workflow and everything. So yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of improvements in a lot of things. I'm not saying that my old style is like less good than my new style, it's just different. I actually think it's really cute, my previous style. It has like this picture book kind of vibe to it, and I think it's really adorable. But there's obviously just a lot of improvement in my techniques and my brush strokes and lighting and all that, and so I'm really proud of the new painting. And actually it'd be so cool to see in like 4.5 years from now, to see how, if I repainted the image I made right now, what I would change and how I would make it differently. So thank you so much for watching. If you would like to buy prints of my new painting, I have 5x7 and 8x10 prints available in my shop, and the link is going to be down in my description, and all of the rest of my social media will be down below as well. I will talk to you guys in my next video next Sunday. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!